and welcome to Ariel's Twilight Years. How to be a really, really, really old model. It's publication day.
No, it's not.
We're pretending...
Thank you. We're pretending it's publication day. This will emerge on publication day. Truth. Yes.
I'm married to a scientist.
He's not any good at lying, obfuscation. You praised me for this quality.
Fucking hell, Hywel.
You praised me for this quality.
Oh,
you
God.
literally said it was an admirable thing.
You are a nightmare on YouTube. I've forgotten this. It's publication day for my memoir, Playing to Lose, my journey from growing up in the Jehovah's Witnesses and today being a BDSM model who's married to a scientist. I have received a lot already of lovely feedback from very generous people, including people who are watching this, and it really means the absolute world because I wrote this book having not written a book before, not really knowing what I was doing, and the process of getting a book all the way to market involves so much rejection that in the end, of course, you start questioning whether it's any good at all. So the lovely, kind words from so many of you has meant a great deal to me. And then I got a piece of very serious literary criticism, which I feel we must address. So I thought I'd read it to you, and then we can comment on elements of this. Now, to be fair, this person says some kind things about the writing as well.
But
I have a few minor criticisms. I am a pedant. I doubt that many of your readers are. Why
would you doubt that?
I think what he means is I'm clever. I doubt very many of your readers are clever.
Yeah, well, that's a very odd thing to start off with,
It's a very odd thing to start with. Autobiography/memoir is my least favourite fictional genre. I do, however, enjoy an unreliable narrator.
Multiple things. So one, this are accusing you of lying. Because how else can you read that? I mean, not only is he saying unreliable narrator, which says you're being unreliable, and that means lying.
Yes.
But also he has decided that autobiography and memoir are fictional genres.
I just wonder if he means non-fictional, because this email is littered with errors.
I am a pedant, though.
I'm a pedant, but not about my own terrible writing. So, because there are other errors in this sentence, I just wonder if he meant non-fiction. I mean, we'll never know, because I've now blocked him. And it just makes me think, is he high? Is he drunk?
Has he actually misunderstood what unreliable narrator is?
Yeah.
There is a sense, if it wasn't for the quip about fictional genre, I'd have thought, okay, there are bits where you are being an unreliable narrator on purpose.
Yes.
In this book.
Yeah, as a comedic
you are
device,
comedically withholding information that you, the narrator, know until the appropriate, funniest, I will reveal this unreliable narratorness only when it's funny, right?
Yes.
So you do that, and maybe he was trying to compliment you on your doing that.
Who knows? I don't care what fictional genre he likes most either. In my humble opinion, your editor deserves a good spanking, and you just know that this man thinks my editor's a hot woman.
Yes. The sheer arrogance of that.
In an email littered with errors.
Like, first of all, such a thing would be deeply inappropriate because...
Massively inappropriate. I mean, we don't spank people who are not consenting.
No.
In this world.
No. He's trying to be funny.
It's just so
But again,
gross.
he's tackled it in such a gross
it's
way
really cringy
because
and predatory.
He clearly really means that he thinks the book is badly edited.
Yeah.
So you've decided that you know better than the multiple editors who've reviewed
I love it that he just decided there's one editor. There were 4 editors.
Yeah.
You don't like the editing, but this wasn't the work of one silly little ditzy blonde. Oh, it's
in my humble opinion.
Yeah, really. No one ever says that, do they?
No,
if they actually are humble.
Never mean it.
Oh, it's so gross. This is... I don't know. They're all my favourite because it's so bad. I had to discipline myself to ignore your punctuation, which slowed me down. You have approximately twice the number of commas that are necessary. It just reminds me of, in the film Amadeus, with the whoever it is saying, there are too many notes.
Too many notes.
There are simply too many commas. There are the number of commas
that your style requires. Your style is highly conversational. Conversation has commas in it.
And the way I write and the way I talk is very staccato, as I know from editing myself. There are a lot of commas. They're meant to be there.
Yeah, this is a representation of how... It's like saying, well, you represented the accent of that character with a heavy accent.
Yeah, and the idea that this clown with his English has decided that he knows better than the full-time professionals who've worked on this book.
Full-time editors, yes.
Whenever I think I'm being a bit unfair, I imagine writing this to someone.
Absolutely, yes.
And just the shame.
The shame. You'd have to be damn sure.
Oh, God. I feel in my bones that this man is not a published author.
Or if he is, he's a really bad one.
He's a really bad one. Because I doubt anyone who would have gone through this process would be just so ignorant and arrogant.
It's the schoolboy level pedantry as well.
It really
like
is.
Pedantry's, I'm a cured pedant. I used to be a bit of a linguistic pedant. I've got over it because I learnt more about linguistics.
And like, people who have interesting stuff to say don't need to do this.
No.
Because ideas are free and fast moving.
Yeah.
Pedantry is all about hanging on to what you think are these hard and fast concrete rules because somehow they're better and more valuable than the ideas that creative people are just sort of spraying out everywhere.
Yes.
It feels like a massively socially conservative thing to be.
Yes.
To like, well, hang on to these rules. It's unfortunate because, I find myself wanting to use the word mansplain, which is a sexist term for a sexist thing. But I feel like this man is trying to be charming towards me.
Yes.
He's
trying to be knowledgeable and domly.
That's what makes
worse,
it
isn't it?
so obscene.
Oh, I'll spank you, young lady. He's flirting with you.
Vaguely glimpse that I might not be absolutely stupid. This girl...
She might have got a B in English.
But I just know that however clever she might be, I'm definitely cleverer. I'm writing an email to show her that I'm cleverer.
To show how clever I am and that she needs me to spank her, yes.
He has sent me some of his creative writing in the past. He wanted to pay me to read it out loud and I had to say no. I did the first one and I had to say no to the second one because it was offensive on so many levels.
Yes.
And so this email comes on the background of me knowing what his writing is. Now we get onto the accuracy of my story, because all teenage boys put elastic bands around their erect penises once. Adults use cock rings, which are designed for easy removal. Now in my story, there is an adult man putting an elastic band around his cock. And the reason that's in my story is because that's what he did.
What he did, it was there, yeah.
And he didn't do it once, he did it multiple times. You'll have to read the book to find out why.
Favourite fictional genre.
I mean, I've not made this up. They didn't use cock rings, and they were adults. So
again, he's just basically flat out accusing you of lying. You somehow don't know the difference, being a professional sex worker, between an elastic band and a cock ring. I mean, what do you mean?
I suppose it's just that he feels he's expert as a man about penises, and he knows...
nobody would do that, yeah.
But having told us what men do, he then goes on to tell us what women do. I have never met a British woman who wears panties. Pants, knickers, drawers, kecks, or other regional variations, perhaps. Well, I feel like maybe he hasn't met very many British women.
He is British, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm glad he hasn't met many British women.
He doesn't get out much.
And I assume he hasn't seen whether many of them were wearing panties. I don't know.
No, and it certainly hasn't got on intimate enough terms to discover whether they refer to their underwear as panties or not.
So
he's been too busy bellowing about the misuse of commas to get that far. How many commas did you use? I have a bit of a pedant.
Too many commas.
Oh, too many. You've got. Hang on, I want to talk to you about knickers. You've gone.
Fact is, I am a British woman who says panties, which is why I say it in my book.
Yeah.
And then he follows up with the same applies to vulvas. Open brackets, vulvae. Now, the word vulvas isn't in my book. The word vulvae is not in my book.
No.
The word vaginas is in my book once. So I think what he's doing is a pedantry thing that some men really like to do to women, to go, no, when you say your vagina, young lady, you mean vulva.
Vulva. Mm.
But I did not mean vulva. I was talking about penetrative sex.
And therefore insertion, and therefore, yes.
I don't know if he knows about penetration.
I wouldn't have thought so. He's still got the elastic band on.
He seems confused.
Yes.
And finally, and I like to sign off all my emails this way because I think it's very charming, you have confused disinterested with uninterested. I haven't.
No.
Best wishes! Would you like to know what I wrote back?
Yes.
He had bought a video call with me. So I wrote back, Please apply to my publisher for a refund on your video call. I have no wish to speak to anyone who accuses me of lying. I'm blocking your email address now.
I have to go shopping now.
So I think this is really good for me because I think this is a very good desensitising exercise for at some point someone who does know what they're talking about will criticise my book.
Yes.
And I will probably have to accept what they say has some foundation. So it was very good to get something that has no intellectual merit at all.
No, it's the most preposterous mansplaining pomposity, isn't it? Really, like, you fecking idiot.
So I think actually I might keep it.
It is a masterpiece of the genre.
I doubt he's trying to be funny, but it is actually very funny. People are very hard to understand sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it would be nice to celebrate the publication of my book by observing the fact that not all the attention you get is positive and that you have to be ready to cope.
It's worse though, isn't it? Because this sort of is positive, because he's clearly absolutely gagging for you to say, oh yes sir, please correct me. I know, I'll send my next book to you to proofread. Oh, please spank me. Give me an extra spank for every excess comma you counted, sir.
Thank you. The reason I really wanted to do this is to express my thanks to all the people who have managed to write and be so kind without this mad level of patronisation. As I was saying to you earlier, professors have written to me to say nothing but kind things because actually smart, actually successful people, they don't just talk to people like this. I think there's a certain level of noblesse oblige when you know you're smart and you know you're successful. You don't write to first-time authors and try to denigrate their use of commas. Because I think you'd feel just like an absolute heel for it.
Yeah, and again, it's not your job.
No.
You will know that this has been through professional editors. And if the professional editor okayed this use of commas, then it's probably there for stylistic effect.
It just struck me how the generousness of the response to my book so far is not because my book is perfect, it's because people, broadly speaking, are courteous and they are gracious. And so it's the exception that highlights for me the graciousness of most of the people in this loose community that we're part of. So thank you to everyone who is not like this clown. I appreciate you so much and I really hope that everyone who has not finished my book yet will enjoy it. Thank you, and thank you, Hywel, for joining me to analyse that extraordinary artefact. Thank you, goodbye now, bye-bye now.